So getting in here with the scope is going to be a little more difficult because of the way it goes down on the valve cover. We have to remove the total top of this, all the plastics and stuff, get straight down into the valve cover to take a look. We're going to get this thing up in the air first, actually, and just go ahead and we'll take a look inside the oil pan after we drain the oil. We'll get an idea from there. If it looks bad, then we'll come up and we'll pull all this stuff off and do that situation so you guys can see what the inside the valve cover looks like before, and then we'll start using Restore and Protect and see what the difference is. All right, so this is a 4-wheel drive model, and I did buy this new, and I did buy it with the air suspension, which is very hard to find. Actually, it was very difficult to get this truck. And one good feature I was able to get on this truck, not so much feature, but something that Ram used to offer, is a lifetime warranty. So this truck does have a lifetime warranty. So I didn't want to do anything to hurt that warranty. I did add some things, but very much try to keep it as stock as possible so I wouldn't lose my warranty. Some dirt in here. We do use it as a truck. I did set it up also. You'll see here from the bar in the front. I did set it up so I can tow it behind my Class 8 RV. We've been doing that for years. And it tows very well because this has a neutral switch and it doesn't lock the steering column, which means you can tow this behind the RV without a problem. As long as it's diesel, of course, because this is a heavy truck, about 5,700 pounds. So a couple of the issues with the Rams that are kind of a pain in the butt. One is you have these exhaust manifolds up here and they tend to crack, or you end up breaking one of the bolts and then they make a tick. So that's one of the ticks that you get from this. The other type of tick is from the lifter problem, which hopefully the Restore and Protect will take care of that. So I always take a look at everything as we're down here. We're starting to see some wear here in the lower ball joint. So probably gonna have to take it in for some warranty work here pretty soon. They do cover stuff like that, which is pretty neat. Another pain in the butt that Ram and all their wisdom decided to do is that's where they put the oil filter. And everyone complains about this. Having a lift makes this easier because I can just put a rag or a piece of plastic on here and it just droops down instead of with oil all over the place, all over my, my axle or my power steering. I make it a little bit easier, but if you're under a truck and you don't have access to a lift, it's a pain in the butt with that. So another issue is why in all their infinite wisdom would they put the drain plug for the transmission right below the crossover pipe? Again, all this stuff just makes a mess, makes it more difficult to service things as a mechanic, working at your house rather than, at the dealership where, they have access to lifts. I have access to a lift, so it can get rid of that, alleviate that issue. But still, these are supposed to be lifetime units. As long as you're not doing excessive towing or anything like that, you should never have to change the transmission fluid in this. Basically, what they say is as long as you're light duty use, don't service it. This has been dealer service because one, I do tow, and two, I do have lifetime warranty, and I want them to not say that it's not covered because of XYZ. I didn't do the service or whatever. So nothing to worry about there. Work our way down the side. We do have a wire hanging out. I'm not really sure that came from, but I'll take care of that in a second. I do have the amp deployable side steps. They're fantastic. If you don't have them, definitely worth the money. They aren't cheap. They're about $1,700, but God, they're worth it. I did put a Dynamax muffler on here. This has the valve in it. So basically what happens is the valve is shut normally, so it's quieter. When you full throttle it, the spring opens and full throttle. So that's pretty cool. Again, you got air suspension back here. Nothing to report. Everything looks fine. Keep on going. I do have the Falcon AT4s on this, or these are the AT3s, but fantastic tire for, on-road, off-road. They don't make a bunch of noise like some of the other tires. And you get the air compressor back here, which I did have them replace the rear shocks under warranty, and I had them do some other work. To be really honest, those rear shocks look like they're leaking again. I'm not going to lie, they actually don't even look like they replaced them. They said they replaced them, but again, here's what happens when you get the dealer doing stuff. But they had to purge the unit, and they ended up breaking one of the lines to the bags to replace the bags, supposedly. I don't know, I think they replaced that one. That one looks stock. And now, because they did that, they had to replace the pump. And this thing, look at that. Something is not right there. That thing should not have that much movement. All right, well, I gotta take this apart and take a look and see what this guy did when he did that, because that should not, I mean, this should be loose, but not like that. That's crazy loose. So I'll figure out what's going on there in a minute. In the meantime, let's get draining oil. All right, just to finish taking the drain plug off here, let her drain out. And boom, here we go. Nice and black. It's only been 5,000 miles, but again, this is why I change at 5,000 miles, because they say go longer. I say you're gonna probably eat up your engine if you do that, or make it a filthy mess inside. I do like this cart. I don't know if you guys, I'll put a description in the, put it in the description for a link. This from Vevor. It's nice because it folds up flat, so I can put it away with all my other stuff. It doesn't take a bunch of space, but still strong enough to put all my tools and whatever I'm using on. So, well, anyway, we'll let this finish draining and we'll take a look inside. All right, we finished draining. Take a look inside. There looks, that's the oil pickup right there. Oh, we're getting a lot of reflection because it's bright outside right now. Got a little bit of corrosion up. I mean, a little bit of varnish, not corrosion. Got varnish up there. Nothing serious. It actually looks really good inside. I don't see anything that's crazy going on. But that doesn't say what's going up in the cylinder heads or what's going on in the piston rings and landings. So this only gives us a generalized idea. This engine does not have any sludge, which is a good thing. That's the beauty of owning a vehicle from when it was new, is you know the oil change intervals have been good. But it doesn't mean that there's something going on in the rings, which is not consuming oil, so I'm not terribly worried about that. But I am worried about the tick. So maybe in that valley where you see that varnish, that's also on the lifters. Since the lifters don't get adequate oil during idle, which is the common problem with these, maybe that's where that issue is coming from. It's only once, it's an intermittent issue, and I'm not getting the check engine light, which is associated with the lifter failure. So we'll see what happens. We're going to go ahead and change this with the Restore and Protect, and we'll see what it looks like after 5,000 miles in oil change. We'll do it a couple of times and give you an idea what's going on. All right, so getting the oil filter off, the easiest thing to do is just get yourself a pair of oil filter vice grips, or whatever you want to call those. And then you're just gonna grab on there, loosen it up. And then the more level the truck it is, the better off the oil coming down. I'm not gonna put my protector on there, so you can just see what kind of mess this makes. So let me go ahead and get this thing loose. So you can see it comes down the rack there. The more level the truck is, the easier it is to do this. We have a little wind today, so I'm gonna bring this up so before it starts trying to splatter everywhere. The more level the truck is, the more it's just gonna come straight down that rack. If you're at any sort of angle, you're gonna end up on that actuator right there, and then you get oil over that. So what I do is just loosen her up and let her drain out for a while, and then I'll take that filter off. But this is the cleanest way to do it without making a big old mess. Keep the truck level. As you can see, the oil is on just on this flat part. So that's probably why the dealers don't have as many problems that everyone else does trying to do this in their driveway. Just keep this thing level. You don't have much of an issue. So we'll just go ahead and put that new filter on, get nice and firm on there. Then we'll just clean our little oil up, which is not bad at all, and we're good to go. All right, so went in and rotated the tires. I didn't film that, but I always rotate every oil change to get the maximum life, especially out of these, you know, aggressive tires, because they tend to wear wrong, and when they get wrong, they wear excessively wrong. You might have noticed I do use the stabilizing posts in the front and the back. This is a very stable lift for the most part, but you can see here, if I'm working and tugging on it, it will move. And I'm not just one to take chances. These are $60. I put them in the description. They stabilize it. They can support 2,000 pounds, and they just prevent the vehicle from rocking back and forth, especially when you're tugging on stuff, you know, working on transmissions or suspension work. Last thing you want to do is accidentally pull it off or put excessive wear on your lift. So we'll get this on the ground. We'll drain the catch can. I'll show you why you need a catch can on these when I drain it, because you'll see how much oil comes out of there. And we'll get some Restore and Protect in the crankcase, and we're about done. Okay, so I usually put a clear cup down there, and you can see it's draining right now. This thing doesn't want to focus. But I just open up the valve, let her drain in there. I'll show you what I get out of this. And this is just one oil change. So it gives you an idea of how much oil on these Hemis and the LS engines on the General Motors vehicles, how much oil would go through your intake and end up all of your valves and cause a carbon problem for sure. Okay, so this is 5,000 miles. That's how much oil ended up in that catch can instead of the intake. So if you don't have a catch can, get yourself a catch can, because That much oil doesn't look like a lot, but over time that's going to get all over the back of your valves and turn to carbon, or get in your upper piston ring area and clog that up too. So very important, get one of those catch cans if you don't have one. We'll go ahead and put oil in her now and get her started. If you watch my other videos, you'll know what I'm about to go over, but I buy these cans, of course my ripped glove. Anyway, I buy the oil in the 5-gallon jugs. And again, it works out to be about $20 every 5 quarts. So I save one of these, one for $5.20, one for $5.30. And then I just fill it to where I need it. And then I can fill my vehicle and be very precise. You know, the Hemi takes 7 quarts. So I'll fill it once and then I'll put 2 more quarts in this. I'll be right on the money without even trying. So if you're not doing this already, highly recommend you do. Go into the description. You can subscribe and save and order directly from Valvoline and have it delivered to your home. I'm pretty sure they will deliver internationally. So if you are one of my viewers from overseas that's been asking about this, go on our website, see if they'll ship it to you. Who knows, they might. Not trying to flex on anyone, but you know, getting over these trucks sometimes, especially the 4-wheel drive, and trying to get all the way over here, sometimes is a challenge. You step on the bumper, have to get a step. One of the pluses to having the air suspension is it can squat. So hit this twice, and then you'll hear the air suspension start releasing. And look at that. She squats down, comes down a full 3 inches. Doesn't sound like much. You can tell her that didn't sound like much. But by bringing it down this much, now I can easily reach over. I'm 6'4", so this is not really a problem for me. But for people that do have a problem getting over and trying to get to it, now I can easily get to this without even trying. So that's the beauty of having the air suspension. So go ahead and top the oil off. All right, so oil level is good, but just want to see that corrosion, that tint on there that's on the dipstick, the brownish color compared to the rest. I just wanted to notate that because we're going to see that changes. All right, so we're all done here. Topped off the oil. We drained the catch can, rotated the tires, put the Restore and Protect in here. Hopefully we'll see some results next time we do the oil change, see if it's removing the varnish, and also most importantly, see if we hear that nasty tick. I mean, it may take a few oil changes to get a difference. We do put a lot of miles in this truck, so hopefully we'll be able to update this within a month or two and let you know where we're at. Currently at 130,000 miles on the odometer. So please like, subscribe, share if you like videos like this, and follow up because we will have a results-driven does Restore and Protect work to fix the Hemi Tick. And also we'll take a look inside the engine and see if it got any cleaner from oil change to oil change. Again, it can take multiple oil changes, but we'll see what happens after the first one, second one, third one, and really compare and contrast the difference. Thanks guys, have a great day.